So this episode was very much about resolve and changing oneself. A lot with reflection as well. There's a lot of good uses of backstory. I did like how they showed the different perspectives of the same event between Fi and Wakaba, and and their motivation changes. So you have Fi, who up to this point, aside from Wakaba, but nobody else knows it, but Fi and Wakaba are the only ones that aren't human right now, as far as we know. There might be more. I'm pretty sure the class was not consistent of 8 people. So I think it's like 8 people. But Fi used to bully Wakaba, and she is starting to feel like because she was a bully, she feels like her not being human in her reincarnation is a divine punishment, and that maybe she should take life a little bit more seriously. Then you have Wakaba, who is just kind of messing around, being a dork, just trying to like live life as casually as possible, essentially trying to be the neat she was before. And then after, she ends up losing her home, and she has this big moment where she doesn't want to ever run away or lose, and always be proud of how she lives. And that moment was really kind of pretty powerful. The mixture of music and animation and the voice acting all blended together for a moment that every time I see it, it gives me goosebumps each time I've watched it thus far. And I think that's proves a lot considering I've watched it 3 times at least. And each time I got that same feeling. So I feel like this is like the beginning point of where the story is really going to begin. Like the first episode was a lot of the build up to get you familiar with the world. Second episode, getting those motivations in there with some solid backstory. And I like how they didn't make it so just so like, oh, I lost, I never want to lose again. They make it so that her home she lost had meaning, and she felt frustrated because she couldn't fight for that home that she had, and she was too weak to fight for it. Um, and she became fully aware of her weaknesses, and she desired to change and become better, and went on a path to becoming stronger. And despite realizing how weak she really was compared to other monsters, she still has that resolve that she's going to become better, and she starts planning out, figuring out how her fighting style is going to be and everything like that. And I enjoy that. Outside of the story portion, there's still portions of the CGI I like and some that I don't. The one that really gets me right now is the frog, that frog animation. It's so bad. It's so bad. I don't know why they like some of the animation for some of the monsters. It's just so bad, but some of it's so good sometimes too. And I just don't understand why the consistency is all over the place with that. But anyway, there were some details they did with effects and writing and stuff that I enjoyed. So, for example, her SP gauge um, and all her other stats, when it shows it following her and stuff, I really like that kind of stuff. I don't know why, but whenever I see an anime that's supposed to resemble a game at all, and they have those stats next to them, I really enjoy that. Probably because it doesn't take away from like what's going on too much, but still like details that you can get from it. And one other little tidbit that they added that I really enjoyed is when she leveled up to level 10, she had all her skills being announced, and normally up to that point they just had to like roll through like a cycle, but in this case they had a panning shot, and every skill was written in different areas around her body, and those areas around her body consisted with where her skills were used at. So her spider thread was close to her back butt area, and her poison fang was up next to her mouth, and I really enjoyed that. I thought it was a nice subtle detail that added a nice aesthetic to it. And yeah, they're switching a lot more. It looks like from the main character from being CGI to 2D, and they're doing a lot better with that. Yeah, and then voice acting. main voice actor, I feel like she became a lot more consistent in this episode compared to the first one, and that she is really um, finding the voice of the character and figuring out how she wants her to sound and everything. And I really enjoyed that. Now, music wise, the music they use for her motivational thing felt a very similar to like the way they used it felt a lot similar to "You Say Run" from My Hero Academia. Um, it's not quite as hype as that one, but their use of it is very similar to it. And then I also didn't notice this in the first episode, but in this episode, I noticed that majority of their music is very video game like. Like when she beats the big snake, that is straight up a victory, like a battle victory music. And I never noticed that before, but I enjoy it. I think it gives me very much slime feels, but slime kind of did it very subtly, and I feel like, and at least in the second episode, they were a lot more upfront about it. Like, yeah, this is a video game, pretty much. um, Outside of that, you have the opening and ending. I love them. I watch them every single time. I've watched them way too many times. The OP is just a banger. ED is just hilarious. And yeah. Oh, one other thing I wanted to talk about is the fight with the snake was very good. They still use CGI on it, and so when the snake stood still, it didn't look too great. But whenever they had any fast, quick motions, the CGI worked really well with that and made it a lot smoother. But because it was so fast, you didn't notice any weird CGI effects with it or anything like that, and it looked a lot better in a lot of cases. They're still doing great with the camera angles and stuff, and there's a lot going for it, and I want this to be good. It's a really good story. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So if you enjoyed, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you get notified whenever I get a new video out. It's a slow coming because I work a full-time job, but I'll get the other ones out and I'll catch up eventually. I'm getting a schedule built for it, and I'll let you know whenever I get that schedule built. Yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.